Good afternoon.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. So it's great to be here, second time. Thank you, Anton, for invitation. And thank you that you are coming in such a big and powerful energy here. And I'm here today, as Anton probably told you, to share with you what we are doing with educational buildings, and not just educational buildings. It's about environment, what we are in. And I really like the theme in this forum this year is taking responsibility. And yesterday it was a very good panel, and Mayor of Lviv, so it's your mayor, told that that is actually our responsibility, how we live and what inheritance we do and share. So I will share some knowledge with you. So I'm from Vilnius, and as you see, we are in the same axis, on geographical axis and soul axis as well. I hope you feel it. But we also, you know, when we're talking about us in Vilnius and you in Lviv, we are talking about much bigger piece of land, what we are sharing the same inheritance. We didn't want it, and we share the same problems. We somehow struggling with that. So my office is based in Vilnius. And the colleague before said it has 30 years jubileum last year. So we had 10th jubileum last year. So, and we always, our offices moved for one from other transformation. So we always transform the places we are in, transform the spaces from working to partying, and transforming also like territories, not only buildings. But now I'm coming back to education. And I will come back to education from long time ago and just share with you my personal story and images. So you know, like, I don't know how about you, but when I was a kid or teenager, of course, the movies actually was something which actually translated the other world, which could be happening around, because I was living like in 90s was still Soviet time, so I still remember that the movies I started to saw our independence. For example, this is Manhattan, Woody Allen, and the school in Manhattan. I really remember when I was like 12 or 30 years old, I was thinking, how come these kids are coming like straight to the street and mixing with all the inhabitants and have this so much citizenship in themselves when my reality is like this, you know? And my reality is that I'm not part of the city. I'm not part of all these, you know, like, I don't know, office people, like mothers, kids, some kind of strange weird people. I'm just, you know, actually abandoned from all of this because we are so isolated. And I was thinking, why is it so different? Also, for example, when like maybe I was 14, and I think you also know this movie, The Breakfast Club. They had so much different lives in their corridors. You know, they were like, I don't know, just playing, and all these storages was there, and there are a lot of interactions. Well, my, like, and I think it's yours, corridors was like this. And you know, we were not allowed to play, to be, I don't know. We had some different experiences, of course, but it was so like, you know, like not inspiring you to connect. Or, for example, that Power Society. Of course, it was like I was 18 years ago old or something like that, and it was so inspiring to be so brave, to like lift on the, you know, bench and say that what you want and bravely like a dedicated poetry and stuff like this. But my school was so different, where there are no like kids on the tables, you know, there were chairs on the tables. And what is the saddest thing when I understood that it's not only my childhood, it is, you know, like my school was 30 years ago, but also like the kids who are going to school in Vilnius, and I guess in Lviv, most of you or your familiar people are actually going through the same stuff. And when I learned this, why we are not questioning the rules, why we are not questioning the habits we have, why we are not questioning, all the environment, we only, just continue to live what was programmed not in our democracy values, but in anti-democracy values. And I learned a lot, maybe 7 years ago, where I started working with one of these kindergartens. So I think you also have pretty similar things. And this is kindergarten near Vilnius. And the same one rule, which is also repeated in all these kindergartens, is that you are coming through the entrance straight to your group, and that's it. You are only familiar with that group. And why is that? Because I really believe that these socialist, typical propagandic buildings were also meant to be not socializing, not having collaborations, not to have free mind and stuff like this. And we had possibility to work and transform it. And it was actually first transformation in Lithuania from Soviet state kindergarten, which actually questioned, but not still renovated, repainted, insulated, replaced plums for good isolation and very good hygienic material. No, we questioned our habits and we questioned how the space actually changed them. So what the first thing we did, we said for headmaster, please don't use these exits and entrance. It's we prohibit you to use these entrance and exits, and please use just one, which leads you to the courtyard and which connects everybody. This is how actually the community began, and not only that one which direct entrance, but community from whole kindergarten and even the neighborhood. So this is the relationship I told maybe last year about it, but this inspired me also to think much broader how space could actually change people's lives. This is our school in Vilnius, and also we did this main gathering space, and what happened? I asked the headmaster what has changed, because he moved from Soviet school to this school. He said, we started greeting each other. And think about this. And talking about movies, so the war started. And of course, it is so terrible that you always think just to throw your minds what you can do, and this is Wings for Desire from Wim Wenders, and it's also very inspiring, just to inspire that you can do something you can do to change it. And then I thought that if it's happened if it's only one kindergarten in Lithuania, only one kindergarten in Vilnius, which has such a huge power, what if we count all these standard buildings in a whole region, including Ukraine, and start something, uniting. So we had some events in Vilnius. Oleg was also sharing his ideas. I was here last year, and the drawing from Roman was very nice of him. And we agreed with the Big City Lab, so our partners in Ukraine, to make this change here in Ukraine and to select 5 most typical schools, firstly, and make a projects for them. And we started, selecting data. And first of all, what we did, we started from Vilnius. And, actually, there were never no data how many Soviet schools and how many Soviet kindergartens was actually existing in our cities. So in Vilnius, you see, red is schools and blue is kindergartens. There are huge amounts. So it's kindergartens is 80% still not transformed, just repainted, just renovated from the Soviet times, and also the schools. Then we do Mariupol analysis. And the numbers was pretty similar. So it was like 72% of all schools in Mariupol were still built in Soviet times. And you see the types, the age is the same. So like the approach could be also the same. And we did also this memory research. And this was also very interesting for me to find that we are sharing not only the same history, not only the same inheritance what we have, but we are also sharing the same memories. And this is memory from like one woman from Lithuania, and just see what she draw. She draw only her group, but not whole the building, because there is no system for public and common spaces in the building, right? And yesterday I had the possibility to make a workshop with some of you here in Lviv Urban Forum, and actually one girl, so you see the name there in the corner, also draw the same image. So only one part was actually in her memory, written in her memory as the one she was familiar with. So what does it say? That, you know, the building doesn't connect. As it is here, like Lviv Urban Forum connect us, and this space gather us, and we can make some kind of collaborations, and all the colleagues told a lot about this connecting, and then you decide is this connection you want or not, but you are free to choose. But actually we have to create conditions to choose, and this socialist building, standard socialist buildings, doesn't do that. So this is how I started NGO, Rebuild the Wonderful, which talks about these things. And we had this contract, so we start working with the numbers in Ukraine. Though this is done, all this done was last year. So we counted all the schools in the occupied regions, typical standard schools in Ukraine, and we counted most popular types. So you see the most popular types in whole Ukraine, it is Q, C, H, H3, and O. We named them like letters, but this is layouts. And they are pretty, these are numbers of damaged schools. So, and it is like 1 year information. So it is like last August, this was 45 Q types was damaged, 33 C types was damaged, H types was 24, 18 H3, and O 14. So this was damaged schools. And we actually suggested for the Minister of Education and the Vice Prime Minister, Mikhail Fedorov, just to prepare these 5 projects for these 5 typical schools, and then go hunting with the funding. And then, if we are succeed, and when you have the victory, it's very easy to, you know, just to use these projects, not necessarily all the projects, but to use, recharge, retransform this for democratic Ukrainian values. And actually we succeeded. And of course we didn't want to do it just alone, so we invited a few other offices. So you see Siri Warner and Csaba Nagy. So Siri Warner is a top architect in Estonia, Csaba Nagy is a top architect in Hungary, and he had also the same experience as I did with Pelediukas kindergarten. And we just, as like NGO, we said that each of us will design one each types, but we will have the same principles which could be applied even to other types. So O and H was designed by us, so I'm like on these 2 chairs, on like Duo Architects chair and Rebuild the Wonderful chair. Then C type was designed by by Csaba Nagy and Archicon, so in Hungary. All these offices are nominees for Mies van der Rohe Awards. So C type and H3, and Siri Warner was for Q. And then direct locations were selected. And actually 3 days ago, we got confirmation that we will build the O school. And what does it mean? That it will become like a showroom for other schools, that it could be multiplied, and this like renovation and putting only insulation panels or just putting the same plastic windows, not questioning if to lower them or not, could be changed. So these are principles, that's 12 principles which we applied everywhere. And I won't maybe go through them, but just to understand, this is only everything is for human. So these principles talks about how to connect, how to make a cozy and inviting place that people not, you know, like in the evening, like pupils or so, would love to go to school because they could meet, they could easily use spaces and stuff like this. So I will briefly tell about these principles in our designs, and this is O School. So this is a building which was very inspiring for me like long time ago. This is Belgium School in Mechelen, Belgium. And in Western European, and actually also in Ukraine and also in Lithuania, before the occupation, the school was part of the city. The school was public city, public building, part of the city. And actually, when I started with this wooden Allen image, then just the kids run out to the street and mix with all the inhabitants. Actually, this is normal, and this should be done. So what we're doing with these huge plots now, which are well inherited from our shared history, we have to actually create the neighborhood place, neighborhood space in front of the schools. So this is before and after image of the O School. And what we did, we just, you know, these big side plots, we just moved the line that everybody could use the space in the front, all the neighborhood, and actually it would become from this isolated entrance, neighborhood entrance. And could you actually imagine, just imagine now, how you would go to school? There wouldn't be like no gates. Your doors would be in front of public space. And public space could be used, you know, like by everyone. It could be like markets, bicycle racks, I don't know, whatever. It's just public space. And this is how the school actually becomes like a synagogue, you know. It becomes a public spot. It becomes a meeting place. And this is, I think, what we need, but we actually use the same walls, how it was built. Of course, one of the principles, so that was the first principle, right? To make it a public building with a public space in the front. Of course, the locality is also very, very important. So each of the school should collect, you know, some local souls and local like senses, what to put on this building that it would be local. So here in O-type case, so Špitki, so actually you couldn't say it when you're there because it's like a actual Soviet village. It seems like a Soviet village, but when we start reading the history, it was like a super wealthy inhabitants which were like building everything from red bricks, and they had sugar factory and orangery and stuff like this. You wouldn't imagine this all there in this super small village, but we have to reflect all this history, whatever we are doing. Whatever we are doing, we have to reflect the history, the very long history of Ukraine, here of Western European history, just to see what we are actually. Not only, you know, like these past decades. And of course, like these uniformed facades have to be, you know, opened and inviting to collaborate. Sills, window sills. Of course, we all imagine them because we all use them. This is Max and Victoria from Big City Lab. And this is actually what I remember from my school, that it is so high when you are little, so it's like you even don't see the, you know, what's in front, just the sky. It is so high that you cannot see, you know, what's in your eye level. So this, of course, should be changed, because it's repainted, and every summer. But why? It's not like this. It could be like this. It could be just, like rooms, not like halls, not corridors, like rooms with some kind of books and like some whatever, chairs and stuff like this. And I also loved few weeks ago, I was in Kiev and presented all this to like a public, and your Vice Prime Minister, Mikhail Fedorov, he really liked the books, that they are open. And he said, you probably think that it could be stolen, but we trust people. And even if a few will be stolen, the approach is for free democracy, and the spaces should talk about that. So you can see before and after layouts, and as I said, the common thing in all Soviet education buildings that there is no common spaces. And you see like before, it is in gray, it was 314 square meters. Now it is more. It's like almost 3 times more. And it is, again, collecting, gathering people. And then, like in the classrooms, they stay concentrated. But still, this is the most important thing, what is the change shall be. Then the H-type. H-type is one of the most common types. And again, it is in huge plots. It is in huge plots without any care. And one also, the principles were universal design, so it should be flat. And again, imagine if you are going to your school just from normal public space, where it's like for everybody, for all neighborhood. Maybe there is in the corner some coffee shop, which is like open 24/7, maybe, and the school becomes not only a school, but also like integrated part of the city. And then from here, smoothly, you can go to the courtyard, and like all other school functions could be held. Maybe, like the space and the walls are the same. The walls are the same, but they are totally transformed. And the walls, the courtyard, you see, is the same. But previously, it was so closed that it never would inspire any one of you, let's do it the concert. No, because the space doesn't shout, please do a concert here. Because we architects have to program spaces that they would shout you all the ideas you can do there for every people. Common space, you could argue with me. Of course, there were common spaces. Yes, but common space is like this. This is formal common space. And formal common space, if you write down love, you would never love. You have to feel, you have to be inspired in order to do and to act, right? So this is why on the entrance, we everywhere in all the schools, because it was the principle we created, it is the gathering space like this. So this is the gathering space in H school. H3 school. Also the same courtyard, also the same problems, and also the same entrance from our principles, transformation principles, which actually also welcomes you with these shared spaces and also intimate spaces, because if you have shared space, of course you have to have interests and also internal spaces. And all here, I will just repeat and repeat that how just little things, for example, here just an opening, change your day, change your week, and change your memory. And maybe after all this, also classrooms become much more diverse and much more inspiring than we actually used to do. And then the last is a Q school, and also the same principles, which may be questioning the classrooms. And also the classroom, it is so strict with all these chairs, so maybe it could be just different. And if we try, and if we see that it could be different, we also, we are people which are learning fast, so we are also share this experience in other places, and we question, is it really has to be this? Maybe we can have another routines. So we are part of something continuous. This is also a very good line from one of these movies. So I invite you to rethink what we have and transform what we have, because it is, as the theme has said, our responsibility. If you are interested, so here is a website with all the projects you can use. This is open source. You can use all the principles, all the plans. Please write us. Here is, like in the back, some postcards about the schools and about the kindergartens and about to build a wonderful project. And here you will find our project as an Architects Do Architects. So thank you very much for your kind attention. You are more than good.
Thank you, Gilma. It's incredible. I think you heard the reaction.
I don't know.
I don't know why everybody is so happy, because, you know, such a work in front of us. We thought only, you know, to rebuild destroyed school, but we have to rebuild everything we have, and which is not destroyed, but in the state that it is. So please, after such applause, I guess you have a lot of questions. We have time maybe for a few. Please raise your hand. Who is ready to give a question to Gilma? I think it was mind-blowing, so they have to marinate a bit. Колеги, чи в когось є питання? Ось там я бачу питання.
Добрий день. Таке питання, які...
So my question is, what were the criteria to pre-select schools for your
project schools. What was the criteria to choose, especially these schools?
Okay, so I think I told you, but maybe it was not clear enough. So it was very, very clear criteria. So firstly, we just counted what types are most popular in Ukraine. So because there are like these special like standard types which are like typical and repeated. So for example, like O school is 12,000. Like C school is like 11,000. This is such a numbers. And then from them we counted which are damaged. And then a little bit statistics, of course, changed, because then we counted which schools of these popular schools are damaged. And these 5 most typical and most popular from damaged schools were selected. And locations, if you are asking about locations, so these are, well, like just also a lot of negotiations with the cities, which were prepared to act. So this is was selection with the cities, the locations, if you were asking that. I hope I answered not. Coffee. Yes, with coffee. Good.
I think everybody wants to, you know, to have a criteria to give their own school for you to work with.
Of course.
I can understand it. We have another question, maybe final one, please.
Вітаю, хотіла подякувати за надихаючу лекцію.
So much for your inspiring lecture. I wanted to ask you and say that, you know, it's all great and beautiful, but I'm interested in knowing how the stakeholders, the school itself, the teachers, the principals, the students, how do they respond to such ideas?
For your presentation, very inspiring. My question is, how do the school staff, the teachers, directors, all the, you know, administration react on these changes, or at least the proposals of these changes?
Oh, it's also, thank you very much for this question. Of course, we met all the headmasters, and of course, when I visited last year Kiev, and we went like to the schools which are near Kiev, because 3 of schools are next to the front line now. So of course, they just couldn't believe that it could happen, just couldn't believe. But I remember it was the same with our kindergarten in Pelagjukas. Like headmaster just didn't believe. She was thinking like just kids are drawing, you know. And we actually, when came for a construction site with, you know, tractors and stuff, she said, really, you are doing this. So I think this is something similar. And actually, teachers are not a problem. Teachers are really willing to help, and headmasters are just dreaming together. You know, the problem, I could say the problem loud, is the law, because it is super difficult law, and we just talked with Anton that we have common also, we have to transform also our law, because the law is according to these Soviet schools. So this is a problem. Finance is also not a problem, so when we have good ideas, finance arise, but this is problem.
And for the architects, it will be interesting information. And in Lithuania, they also have insulation
Yes.
law. So it's
Yes.
craziness in both countries. Thank you, Gilma.
Yes.
Let's repeat
Thank
the
you very
crazy
much.
applause.
Дякую,
as well.
дякую.